Apex Legends does not need new legend. The game dropped in 2019 in February, and every season from 1 up until 15 straight new legend. Season 16 they decided not to drop one, and then in 17 they dropped Ballistic, which is the current new legend right now with the 3 guns and the smart pistol and all of that. We're getting to a point now where when a new legend is added, they're more or less meant to be a replacement for somebody or just overlap with another character one way or another, just because of how many there are and it's hard to avoid it. Like Catalyst is just another version of Watson. Instead of putting a fence, she just barricades the door. She makes the door. Her ult obviously is way different from Watson, but as far as just holding down buildings and rooms, that's kind of both their thing. Catalyst is a lot faster at it. Watson is more, I guess, versatile in a way. And at the same time, they want these new legends to have a decent pick rate, so that way it's something for people to enjoy. As far as when they get on the game for a new season, like they actually want to interact with the new content they added. So you'll add like more simple legends or just more fun to play legends like Ballistic that more or less had no skills gap at all, which makes sense, but legends with skill gaps just don't ever have good pick rates. Crypto, Newcastle, Gibby always have low pick rates, especially Newcastle. I think he's like the lowest right now. And I was writing this video just because I wanted to talk about it, but apparently they're reworking Revenant as like they're calling it Revenant Reborn. Instead of adding a new legend, they're just gonna change his entire kit. I think that's way better of an idea than just adding a new legend that just does Revenant better. I think just reworking that character so we have the same amount of legends, because again we don't need new ones, but making him more useful because he pretty much is the weakest in the game right now, because that man Mirage finally had to come up. He's not the best in the world, but he's a lot better than he was. He always been ass, whether you want to talk about it or not, it's okay. But yeah, as to what the abilities are, I don't know, because I just don't like to look at leaks. I'd rather just know them when they get into the game, not know about them 8 months in advance and then they finally come out. I just like to see stuff as they come into the game. But I think if they're going to keep with this reborn thing, I think they could definitely do Lifeline, because she is just a shell of her older self and quite honestly very boring to play. The only reason I still play her at all is because I have her heirloom. And that's just my favorite heirloom, so I just like seeing it. And on top of that, she's the medic, but Newcastle has a better res than her and he's not a medic, and Gibby. And I can even say the same about weapons. What I think they should do is start vaulting weapons, start having multiple tiers of care packages. So let's say you got tier 1, 2, and 3. The 3 will have things like the Kraber. The first tier will have, let's say they put the alternator back in there, because nobody uses that gun right now since it's on the floor. And then you can also find a car and a 9 and a Volt. Shit, even a hammer point re. There's just no reason to use an alternator. They could put that back into the vault with disruptor rounds. Let's say they put it in the tier 2 or even the tier 3 if they think it's strong enough, but things like that. Or they could just, as they like to say, sunset some guns, like sunset the charge rifle, just get rid of it. I don't think it should have ever been in the game. But yeah, I think just constantly adding new guns, like even with the car SMG, I get it's a Titanfall weapon, but in all honesty, it wasn't necessary. It is just another version of the 9. It just fires a little bit slower, hits a little bit harder, and it uses heavy ammo too. Like it does the exact same thing as a 9, and it was stronger than it at one point. Then they buffed the 9, and now it's, you know, now we're just back to using the 9 again as far as just like what the strongest weapon is. But in the event that there is a meaningful legend, meaningful weapon to add that is just distinct from everything else, then yeah, I think it'd be a good idea. It's good to try. But just when we're constantly just overlapping older things in the game just for the sake of having something new, I don't think that really helps anything. And they end up just getting thrown in the background because people get attached to their favorite legend and they just don't want to play the new one because they're too similar to the legend they're already playing. Like nobody really plays Ashe because they just saw her as too similar to Wraith, and people like Wraith way more than Ashe. Wraith is also better than Ashe in my opinion, but that's besides the point. Or like Newcastle being a hybrid between Gibby and Lifeline, just things like that. But yeah, this just happened to line up with the whole Revenant Reborn thing, so I wanted to make this video. Let me know what you think in the comments, what gun you think they should add, if they should add any. Same thing with the legends. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for some more Apex content. And if you missed my last video talking about why Arena should be brought back into the game, it's on the screen now. I also stream on Kick, so hit the link in the description. But yeah, video's right there. Bye.